Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday? Sunday? It's Sunday, I think. Yeah, sorry. Very, very busy weekend. Leah and I went to New York City, which is about an hour and a half drive from us here, to celebrate her birthday. We had lunch at the American Girl store, and then it started to snow pretty badly. Well, it was like snow and ice kind of mixed, so we were inside the store during that. We did a little bit of shopping. Leah had saved up some of her, all of her Christmas and birthday money, so she did pretty well. And then we took our time driving home. We did do a little stop at the ink pad in New York City, which was really cool. If you didn't see that, they are having a moving sale. So, some discounts on some stuff there. Anyway, while I was away, a package came, and this is from a company called Chalkola. Now, they had hit me up and said, hey, would you like to review some of our products? So I looked at them, and they looked pretty cool. I had no idea what they were going to send me. I didn't pick anything, and this is what we got. So we got a set of 26 watercolor brush pens. We're going to try these out. Soft and real brush tip, it says. Watercolor effect, non-toxic, water-based, kid safe, and of course it does say their company is in Miami, but it is made in China. You can get them on Amazon. I will have a link down below for you, and I think we're gonna have either a discount code or giveaway or something. Read the description. I'll put everything down there for you. What they also included with this is, it states here, includes a water brush. So this is the water brush. I have water in it, and I sent this 15-page watercolor pad. It says acid-free, cold press, ideal for watercolor mixed media, 15 sheets. And what really stuck out to me is it says it's 200 pounds. So that's pretty heavyweight watercolor paper, which is why there's only 15 sheets in here. So first thing I did when I got them is I started to swatch them out. So you can see there's a wide variety of colors. It surprised me to see a neon yellow in there, but that was kind of neat. And then you can see all of the different shades of colors here. And I did all of these with their watercolor brush. Now, the watercolor brush, let me show you, is your standard watercolor brush where you open it up here, fill it with water. It does have a very large tip. So just in comparison, the one I use the most is the Ranger watercolor brush, and you can see how small and fine detail that tip is. So this is going to be much larger in size comparison. Okay, it is synthetic bristles, just fine. The markers themselves came in this really cool kind of storage tin. Just to show you a comparison, this is a set I've had for, I don't know, 15 years, 20 years maybe, a long time. That actually came from Japan, from a friend of mine, and they also come, and I keep them stored in this nice little storage tin. So this is pretty cool to have them here, and then you can slide it out. There's no other information. There's just their card here, but there is no swatches of color, and there are no names of the markers on them. Okay, so these are pretty basic. The barrel themselves, just to compare to the Zig, are about the same size. Now let me show you the nibs. The nibs are a little larger. Okay, so you can see the Zig is on the right, the Chalkola is on the left, so it is a much larger nib. Okay, all right. The bristles themselves, it says real brush, but I think they just mean that it's a brush head, but it is synthetic fibers. And I don't think any of them came... Any of mine came defective or anything like that. I did go through and look at them as I was swatching them. Interestingly enough, I think it's the exact same lids. Ha! Ironic. Yeah, it's the exact same lids on these. Interesting. So the barrels are pretty much the same size, and the lids are the same. So the only thing that I see different is the tips are, like I said, a little bit bigger tips. Let me make sure that's on there tight. Now I don't know which one goes with which. Okay, I'm done fussing with it. I think that goes like that. All right. So I have a lot of brush pens. You saw that I have the Sai ones from Japan. Of course, I have the Arteza ones. I have a very small handful of Zigs. And the reason I only have a small handful of Zigs is because they're expensive, guys. So when companies like this offer to send markers for me to try out at a lower price point, who's going to say no to that, right? And then I had another company, I don't know if you guys remember, these were last year, the Craftian ones. And lo and behold, looky there. I think they're the same company. Let's check the nib sizes again. They are the exact same size. So it might be the same manufacturer. I don't know. But I did, if you remember, I did give the Craftians a favorable review. My biggest qualm is that their box came a little kind of distorted, but I kept them. Like I said, these guys come in a nice tray, but there is no names. But I like that the marker barrels are all full color, that I don't just have to look at the end. I can quickly grab one. And that's why I swatch them out. So, okay, what do they do? All right, so we're card makers. We want to see what they do. So I stamped out my Hero Arts Rose. What's this called? Hero Arts. It's some kind of rose stamp. And then I used the VersaFine Claire, and I did that before I started filming, so that had time to dry. So we're going to leave it in the pad here, and I want to try not just coloring it and seeing how I get the water to move, but I'm going to try blending. So let's kind of do like a red orange flower. I am going to use their brush. I think the brush is a little large. They you know, maybe a more medium-sized brush, but I'm going to assume we can get full coverage, and it works any other way. You squeeze the barrel and the water comes out. It does not seem to be leaking like those Arteza ones did to me. So let's see how they do. So I'm going to start with, let's wet this panel here, right here. And then we'll add some, I'm going to try to blend some red and yellow and see what we get. Okay, so a little difficult to blend there. The paper's wet. I'm wetting the petal with the yellow and kind of going in there. Let's see about... Okay, a little better if we add water to it. We'll have to see how that dries. Now I'm doing it on a dry petal right next to it. I will say that this watercolor paper is pretty thick. Like they said, it's 200, so the marker's going right into it. And there you can see, doing it dry and then wetting it, it does blend the color out. But it is a little difficult to get kind of a smooth blend here. And I think it's because of this watercolor paper, because it is so heavy and thick. Normally when I do these kinds of things, I do them on Bristol and I have a lot better results. Let's see how we do adding the yellow. My guess is that these are going to be very inexpensively priced. So what you just need to do is look at your stash, see where you're at. You know, if you need some fill-in colors, it doesn't hurt to have some inexpensive markers, or if you want to give them away as a gift, or if you want to try them out, or you want to take them on the go. You know, if you're looking to invest in a more artsy, more investment, I would say maybe look into the Zigs. But like I said, the Zigs are very expensive. So they're kind of hard to justify buying, you know, spending $5, $6 a marker, just like with Copics. They're very expensive. I'm not getting a good blend there. So I think wet on wet is our best method here. And this paper just soaks that liquid right up. There's not a lot of time to play here. You want to make sure you get in there. I bet if we use this on Bristol, I might grab a piece of Bristol. that we're going to have a little bit better results. So there you can see, oh, much better blending there. Much better. So if you do wet on wet and get in there pretty quickly with your blending marker, you're going to be able to get that to move. Yeah, now this is pretty much set in there. Yeah, that came out a lot better. Let's try that again. So we're going to wet this petal down here. And I'm putting quite a bit of water on there. Let's really try to saturate it and see how much movement we get. Yeah, the paper just soaks it right up. This is some heavy duty watercolor paper. It takes a lot of water to get it to stay moisturized and get some movement going here. All right, so now it's really wet. Like I really have that saturated. Let's see if we can get some blooming. Yeah, not so much. Now it's just too wet. It won't accept the color now. It's too wet. I can't win here. Yeah, way too wet now. The yellow's a very pretty yellow though. Yeah, that's not going to work. Let's go back over here. I had one of these in my yard. It was called a ketchup and mustard rose bush, and it was gorgeous. And I made the mistake of trying to move it. And it ended up going into shock and dying. And now I'm really upset because it was such a beautiful little rose bush. So now I'm going to have to go buy another one this year and try it again. All right, so there I was able to lay some color down. Let me do a little bit of water here, not a whole bunch. The more I work with it, the more I play with it, the more it's kind of cooperating. So it's taking a little bit. I think that's normal for watercolors, though, watercolor markers. You really just got to kind of experiment with them. Yeah, I'm having better results with blending if I get right in there and blend with it. Like I said, I usually like using the Bristol paper because I just have a little bit more control, I think. Hey, Leah, behind you, there's a yellow paper pad. Can you get that for me?
Where?
Behind you on the shelf, it's a yellow paper pad. It says Bristol on it.
Bristol?
Yep. To the right. Yep, up. In the middle. Yep. Put your hand up. Down. Right in there. Yep, look in there. It's a yellow paper pad. That's it. Hold on. We have my assistant helping me out here. Let's try this again with some Bristol. I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but it just doesn't, it's not blending as smoothly as I would like it to blend. Thanks. So we're going to try it here on some Bristol Smooth and see if we can, oh, we already have a piece pre-cut. That makes it easier. And let's do a little bit of experimenting here. I mean, no doubt that paper would be really good for doing some mixed media. I'm just really not that good at doing watercoloring. So let me do some comparisons here. This is going to be Zig. We'll do this dry. See how we get a blend here. Yeah, see how much easier that moves? It's the paper. It really makes a difference. Look at that. It just reconstitutes that ink. No problem. Okay, so those are the Zigs. Very easy. Let's try these. Chalkola. And all of these markers I found when you're using them on regular paper, they feel like they're dry, it's because they are meant to be used with a water brush. So don't feel like your markers are dried out. They are meant to be used with a water brush. See this? They're meant for this to happen. Yeah, it's the paper. Look at how much of a difference that Bristol paper makes. They blend, no problem. They move, no problem. Going back into the zigs, same thing, no problem. Okay. So, I mean, they're pretty much neck and neck. It's just a matter of color choices. Let me bring in those other ones. Let's compare them. If something doesn't react the way I think it should react when using it, that's when I get disappointed. So these are the Craftian ones, which I was sent last year. See how they kind of look dry? They all look that way. It doesn't mean your markers are dry. It's just because you need to add water and activate them. So same thing on that Bristol. You can see that there. Moving, no problem. Blending, no problem. So let's add some water to those. So these are all behaving pretty similarly. Let's try another test here. What I call the water droplet test. And these colors are all very similar as well. I'm just going to squeeze my water brush until I get a drop of water in the middle there. Okay. And then we'll give it a second to sit and we'll see if that water lifts. So here's my point. My point is there are a lot of good alternative to these markers that are out on the market. Like I said, you can get the Artezas. You get a big set of Artezas for pretty inexpensive. These Craftian markers were sent to me. But these Chalkola ones were also sent to me. So if you just want to try them out, you want to first of all make sure that you are using a good waterproof ink. So VersaFine Clair is a good waterproof ink. You do not want to use Memento ink. Memento ink is for Copics. So you want to use a good ink that's going to work well with watercoloring. The other thing is paper. You want to use a good quality paper. If you're blending, just looks like crap, or like the problem I was having was the watercolor paper just soaks it up too fast. This is a really good alternative. Bristol's paper just is really smooth and it gives you time because the ink doesn't soak in right away to move those markers around. Certain countries, certain places, it's hard to get certain kinds of markers. I get that. I understand that. And you guys know, I know that everybody has a budget. Listen, if you have the budget to buy $5, $6 per marker, go right ahead. Good for you. I would too if I could. But there are some people that are just starting out in stamping, just starting out in crafting. Maybe you have grandkids or children that want to do crafting with you and you're kind of like, whoa, kids, stay over there. You don't necessarily want them to be only using Crayolas, but you know, these are good alternatives to try out. Okay, so that was the zig. You can see that blotted up right away. Here's the Chalkola, same effect, and the Craftian. So these are a really good alternative marker to try out. They're really inexpensive. I'm going to put their link down below for you guys. And again, you get a medium-sized nib. You get a nice assortment of colors here. I like the tray. I don't like that there's no names of colors on them, but I do like that the barrel is full color because, like I said, I have these and I store them upside down so I can see them. Or these, I have to, again, pull them out and look at the tips to see what color they are. So I like that the barrels are full color. I like the storage case. The water brush pen works okay. It's a very large water brush pen. You may want to get a finer watercolor brush, depending on what you're going to be doing with it. And I do like the paper, but not for watercoloring. I think I would use this paper for mixed media art. You can see here it actually started to bleed through a little bit there. This is a really heavy duty paper. It says 200. You can see here I swatched these out no problem. And what I'll do, if I can get this pulled apart, and they do seem to blend well with each other if you're using the Bristol paper. So yeah, if you want to try them out, I'll link them down below. I want to thank Chalkola for sending these out. I always like trying out new stuff, and especially when it's at a good price point. So I'll put my little swatch in the back there, so that way I know the colors and what they look like. So really good packaging, nice kit there. The shipping was super fast, and check them out. They have a whole bunch of other stuff on their website. I believe they're an Amazon-based company. So yeah, thank you Chalkola for sending these out. If you're looking for an alternative, can't get some of the markers that are out there, might be something you might want to try out. Because like I said, compared to the Zigs, you can see they worked pretty much the same way for me, and they all lifted no problem. And I'm sure, like I said, if you wanted to do some watercoloring, let's try this again. And I'm not trying to sway you one way or another. If you have markers you're already using, use the markers you have. If you don't have markers, here's something for you to try. And like I said, I think they're going to give us a discount code or a giveaway or something. So I will link that down below for you. I am going to do something a little different here. Let's try the blue and the pink and see if we can get some purple out of here. You can see how much smoother that goes down on that Bristol paper. Bristol paper does make a huge difference when it comes to coloring in stamped images. Now I'm going right in with the pink, right over that blue, and you can see, look at that, no problem blending. And that pretty purple, there is no line. It blended effortlessly. So it was the paper. I'm going to let that one dry a minute. And I'm not even adding the water color or the water brush at this point. I'm just laying color down. But you can see there's no line there. You can see where I had the blue, blended the pink right into it. Now the blue is a little darker, so it's going to take over. Pretty. Now it is better, so this is taking me a little time to work it. So it is better if you do it when the color's fresh. You can see letting that ink set. You can see how much harder it is for me to blend it versus doing it immediately over here. So over here, so it is a lot better to get to it when that ink is fresh. I mean, it's moving, but it's taking me hard. It's much harder to work than it was over here. Let's try it again using the watercolor brush. See what we get here. Oh yeah, no problem. No problem at all. If you have a good quality paper, good watercolor brush, no problem at all. Let me try doing the wet on wet here. Yeah, works fine. So I would say, yeah, for an inexpensive watercolor marker, try them out. These are not bad. Not bad at all. Got to have the right paper though. If you try it on watercolor paper, you're going to get frustrated. If you have these markers now and you're getting frustrated, change your paper. So thank you for Chalkola sending these out. I do like them. I would recommend them for somebody who is on a budget and just trying out. You get 26 colors and the watercolor brush. I don't know if the watercolor pad is included or not. I will look that up for you guys, and I will link them. And I believe we're going to do some kind of a giveaway again. I will link all the details in the description for you. If you have any questions or comments, post them down below. If you like this video, I appreciate your thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber, click on the bottom right hand button there and click the bell every time you want to get notifications when I post a new video. So thanks for watching, guys, and keep on stamping. Bye-bye.